Cheerio. So, this is a very, very delicate topic. I want to talk about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Okay. I want to start off by saying, first off, hi Maria. Hey, my liberal sis. My Libra sis, not liberal. Libra. Whoa, I had a hard time with that. Then hello to Noelle Page. So, Noelle, you're a sicko. Something is wrong with you. Noelle says that she's watched my videos and she agrees with almost everything I have to say. So, Noelle, something is wrong with you. You should probably go seek some professional help. Okay, so before I get to my own thoughts, look, I have to say DV. I assume you can all figure out what I'm talking about. It's a really sensitive subject, but it's really severe. I was in an abusive marriage for 18 years, a long, long, long time. And this is really tough because from the first moment I started watching, I had never heard of this chick, and I really don't want to say her name, so I'm going to call her AH. From the first thing I'd ever seen, I heard about all this stuff, and then I Googled her depositions for the lawsuit in the UK. And there's times when she's eating fruit and rolling her eyes. And I thought, my goodness, what is this girl, like 23? I just said like. But she wasn't. I think she was I think she's 36 now. Somebody look it up and let me know below. But the point is, she was too old. I'm going to suspect those depositions were between 4 and 6 years ago. This whole thing started in 2018. Well, 2018 is when she wrote the op-ed. So I'm not really sure. It's been within the last 5 years. How's that? But I watched that and I just thought, man, something's wrong with this chick. Because I went out of my way to lie and protect my husband. He pushed me once, and it was honestly, it wasn't a terrible push. It was something kind of slight, but I happened to not be on the correct balance of my feet. And so I fell back, and when you fall, what do? You put your arms out. And the way my left arm broke or hit, it broke my left arm. And my point is, we weren't in a massive, violent fight. And yes, I did hit my man back sometimes. There was a couple times I initiated it. One time where he's standing in my face screaming at me, and I headbutted him. I will tell you, I didn't normally start that because he was 150 pounds bigger than me, and he could really fuck me up. But there was one night we were arguing because we were lying in bed and the TV was too loud. Okay, there's no television in my bedroom now, and when I move to my man's bedroom, once we get married, there will be no television there. But we were lying in bed and I'm like, babe, the TV's just too loud. It's too loud. And he ended up getting up, picked up my glasses. At that point, in those days, I wore 24/7s. Glasses you wear all the time. Now I only wear readers. But they were $550 frames. And I'll tell you what, they were what was his name? Oh, Ernest Hemingway. They were Ernest Hemingway frames. And he's like, I'll break them. And Ashley, my daughter with a penis, is just in the next room. And I'm like, Ashley, stop. And he ends up going and waking Ashley up to say, if your mom asks me to turn the TV down one more time, I'm going to break these frames. So people who are abusive are crazy. They're just nuts all the way. You listen to things she says, but the best one is when she says, now you, Johnny Depp, a man, tell the world, tell the jury that you are a victim of domestic violence. And he says, yes. Okay, so I bring up the behavior panel. Yes, I had a Yingling tonight. I was going to bring it up, but I did have a Yingling. Behavior panel. And they say that when she makes that statement and Johnny Depp says yes, that's just 100% legit. But after everything you've heard, you get it now. Man, this whole subject is tough. But it's the big thing. So apparently, from what I've learned, now she and Johnny have been separated. So when she hooked up with Elon Musk, they had legitimately been separated. There's no adultery. I guess there's fornication, but you understand what I mean. Their marriage was over. So she had every right to hook up with Elon Musk. But she hooks up with Elon Musk, and he starts giving her some advice. So, and he also gave her some attorneys. I've heard that on one of the recordings. Johnny says to somebody, he's like, she sucked Elon Musk's dick, and then he gave her bad attorneys. Well, maybe Musk did that on purpose. I've also heard Elon Musk is the father of her child. But anyway. What was that? My whole fucking... Elon Musk. So she makes this offer. I want $50,000 a month for the next 8 months while we're going through this. And if that's not good for you, then I'm going to file the TRO, temporary restraining order. So who does Johnny Depp have as his divorce attorney? Laura Wasser. So here's me, who could give two shits about Hollywood. Don't care about any of that. But my goodness, I know who Laura Wasser is. She's got a name. But Laura Wasser says, no, we're not giving you anything. We'll get, when we start making arrangements, we'll deal with that. But until then, no, you're not getting a penny. So what did AH do? Just days later, I think it was 12 days later, maybe 7 days later, I don't really know. She went and filed the TRO. So she's a woman who is using DV, something horrendous, because she didn't get her way. And it's really hard to have an ounce or even much respect for someone like that. Okay. So, if you watch me often, you know I am 51 years old, born in 1970. I was born at Barnes Jewish Hospital in St. Louis, Missouri. My parents were moving from Dallas, Texas to Columbus, Ohio, or a little town outside of it. And my mother went into labor early. And so my parents pulled over in St. Louis. My mom gave birth. And the Ronald McDonald House put my father and my brother, who was 3 at the time, up for about 5 days. And so I always give my change to the Ronald McDonald House. Times are different. I don't really know what they do now. But that's what they did. I do know that back in those days, a woman gave birth and you sat in the hospital for 5 days. My goodness, you're going to make me sit in the hospital for 5 days? I better get some good freaking drugs. Some Dilaudid during the day and Ativan at night. Yeah, baby. But I'm old. So I watched 21 Jump Street. And yes, Johnny Depp was a stud. Why do I bring this up? Because at one point they're arguing and they're making fun of each other. And she's like, oh, at least I wasn't a teen heartthrob. And it's like, in 21 Jump Street. And he just says, Aquaman. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. If it were many, many years ago and my boys were younger, I would have seen Aquaman. But I have not. I only know who A.H. is because of this Johnny Depp drama. So she wasn't very famous in Aquaman that someone who doesn't follow Hollywood would have picked up on. There you go. Okay. So, lots of therapists. There was a therapist. I may make that the thumbnail on here. She's very pretty. Excuse me. My guess is she's 56 years old. But she's got her hairdo where it's all fucked up. But my goodness, looks great. Like right there. That looks kind of cute, right? If I could hold. Hey, she looks great. Anyway, she talks about, she knows when people are trying to fake symptoms to have certain things happen to them. Okay. So I've heard of PTSD for 30 years, of course, right? Yeah, I knew exactly what it was. Right. Okay. So at that time, the 9-year-old in my home shares the same name as my ex-husband. And one night, the 9-year-old and I were talking football, and I'm a big football fan. I know more about sports than probably about 70% of the men that you know. I mean, I'm a stats girl. I know all that. And David is telling me that the Philadelphia Eagles intentionally lost their last game of the season so they could get a better draft pick. And I'm trying to explain to him that, oh my goodness, no they didn't. Watch interviews with these guys. They've worked their balls off since they were 9. They're not ever going to intentionally lose a game. This question has been asked. They asked, what was his name? Keyshawn Johnson. And he was like, hell no, we would never do that. So David and I are arguing about this one night. And I start to say something, and he goes, la, 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 la. And oh my goodness, the hair stood up on my neck. My back immediately started to hurt. I think my nipples got hard. But goosebumps. And I went, oh. I actually walked out. I went straight to my man. I said, I love you. I have to go. I'll be in touch. And I grabbed my things, and I was actually out of this house. This is before I lived here. 60 to 90 seconds. And I got into my car, and I started driving home and crying and figuring out what just happened. And then ding, 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 I win. When my ex-husband, David, would argue, I would let him bitch at me for 3 full minutes, and I would never say one word, and then it's my turn, and as soon as I started, he would go, la, 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 la. And that evening, when my little David did that to me, is when I actually understood what PTSD is. It is a genuine physical and mental disease. And I guess I suffer from it. I've told you guys, I was an abused woman. Hey, look, I was an asshole to him. I told you I headbutted him. But for the most part, he beat the fuck out of me. I got the broken arm. I had a broken ankle. Multiple black eyes. I had a black eye that lasted 6 weeks one time. And I'm going to tell you something. When you have a real black eye, there's no makeup that can cover that. None. Right here, in this, it was like, almost looked like a teardrop right here. That was the worst part. So you can still see the whole thing, but it's healing. Now 5 weeks, it's almost gone. But you had a teardrop. And mine lasted probably 6 weeks. So, hey, how about that? When she's on the stand and makes the comment about she didn't bring her bruise kit. Whoops. Accident. Definitely didn't mean that. Okay. There's Oscar. Let's see if I can get him over there. There's Oscar. Man, I am really bad at physics. Science was definitely not my thing. Definitely not. That's why I'm an English person. Okay. So, Amber got on the stand. We all know the bullshit. I pledged the $7 million. The problem is, she could have been straight up. She could have said, yes, Ms. Vasquez, I did pledge the $7 million. But then after I got the money, I sat and I looked at my future and my career, and I realized maybe that was a commitment a little bit too steep for myself. So at that point, she could have made $1,000 payments to the people. If she were genuine, she could have continued it, but said, look, I'm going to keep most of this money. But I'm going to keep that pledge. And she could have been honest on the stand. Well, she would have had to define her difference between pledge and donation. Is that what it is? I pledged and I donate. Fucking sicko. Watch the behavior panel. These guys, I'm going to tell you something. These guys have taught me stuff to learn with my boys. Remember, my kids are grown. I fucked up. Well, I didn't fuck up because I love my guy. But I met a guy who fucked up, and they didn't have kids till they were 50. So I got little kids running around my house. I still haven't had the first wet stain on the bed for the younger one. That's going to be fun. And if you're a mother of a boy, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The TMZ thing. She could have said, yep, I call it TMZ. You know why? Because I'm a nobody, and Johnny Depp is a A-list actor, and I wanted some publicity that worked for me. But she didn't. She sat and said, no, I did not. How about every time, that's correct. That's correct. Her posture is very good. I have pretty good posture also. It's better for your abs, everything. Man, her body language fucking killed me. I wanted to reach through and smack her a couple times. Remember something. We don't actually really run into true narcissists very often. It's actually a really small percentage of the population. This woman's a true narcissist. She is continuing to defend a lie. Jesse Smollett? Does that ring a bell? Anyone? Something DOO economics? If you know what that's referring to, hit below. Man, isn't it so much easier to be like, yeah, I did it. Oh my goodness. Fuck. Her sister. Never heard of this sister. Good looking girl. She looks very angry. She has a very pointed nose. I hear the sister's a punching bag. The sister did not look very happy to be in court. I found it funny on the day the verdict was called. I guess Whitney is her name. She's local. Remember, the courthouse is only about 9 miles that way. She was wearing a black sweatshirt and a black sweatpants. She's wearing all black. Amber wore black also. Could that be a sign that maybe she had an idea what was coming? During the verdict, they all looked at they both, to me, being a woman, they both knew it was coming. And they're like, fuck. I don't have any idea if Amber is still supporting Whitney. Whitney apparently is also a new mother. I assume, unlike Amber, Whitney got pregnant that way. But maybe she didn't. Maybe they're both surrogates. And nothing against surrogates at all. But anyone else notice that not one single person came to testify for Amber? Not one. Except her sister. I'm sorry. I think it was Rocky Pennington, her ex-best friend. So she had testified in the Sun trial, and she's looking on the camera. She's there. For this trial, she wasn't. She's covering her mouth when she's talking. That doesn't make sense. She's covering her mouth when she's talking. Again, watch the behavior panel, guys. I think they cover this. This chick doesn't want to be charged with perjury. She's very weary, but she wants to kind of be honest now. So, goodness. Right? Oh, how funny that Johnny Depp opened an Instagram account and got over 1 million followers just immediately. And Amber Heard replied to his statement. What the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you? Oh. Okay. So I'm going to shut this down with this. It's a little political. It's also very important to the subject. There are many women who use any kind of DV or doing something naughty with a wine bottle. Any kind of examples like that. They will make this up to get their way. A woman sat in front of Congress against Brett Kavanaugh, and almost nothing she said could have been verified. Nothing. And without going too deep, these people, Brett Kavanaugh and Christine Blasey Ford, they were raised in my circle. I knew these people. And much of what she said wasn't true. And it really bothered me. There was a woman, do you remember that tacky lawyer? He hooked up with Stormy Daniels. What's his name? I can't remember. Michael Avenel. He's in prison right now. But he represented a woman who said Kavanaugh was handing out the red Solo cups at all these parties. We were at these parties that there were red Solo cups being handed out, but not the way she said. And that was genuinely the inner circle of people I ran with. And I sat and I watched that woman talk to Congress. And she was lying. Her body language showed she was lying, so I won't even get to that. But I was a direct witness to that stuff. And I think it's really sick that any human being, male or female, would make something up to hurt another person. Okay. If you're still watching right now, I'm shocked. Thank you very, very, very much. I didn't mean to get very deep, but this video has been long in the making because of what I just said. I watched that woman, Blasey Ford, lie and lie and lie. I was here. I hung out with the Georgetown prep kids. That was my world. Okay, call me what you want, but yes, that was my world. I was raised with the elites. I'm not trying to be an asshole. I haven't left that world. I'm still in that world. Okay, think about what you say. Okay, again, I'll say it one more time. If you're even still watching, God bless you and thank you. I am really still shocked. Hey, God bless America. And if you have nothing to buy tomorrow, think about buying a gun, because that might not be your right very much longer. God bless America. Hit like, hit subscribe.